A very good morning to everyone present in this virtual media. Massive open online courses are immensely popular in the field of education, especially higher education. It aims at providing quality education using the internet. It encourages participative learning and extends the boundaries of the field. The COVID-19 pandemic has become one of the intuitive factors in making MOOCs as the key drivers in online delivery of the knowledge and to create this sustainable open knowledge network. In this scenario, preparing the instructors for effective instructional aids is essential. On this note, I congratulate the PG and Research Department of English is organizing this National Faculty Development Program on developing e-content for MOOC through SWAYAM for UGC, CGC for an effective instructional experience under the aegis of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college. I would like to thank today's resource person, Dr. Joseph Puipalli, Associate Professor and Head, Department of English and Comparative Literature, Central University of Kerala, for having this event concerned. Thank you, sir. And my work of appreciation to the head, Dr. Monica Ramraj, and the convener, Dr. Vadivu Karasi, and the team members of organizing committee, Dr. Lily Golda, Coordinator, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, for taking this initiative. I also appreciate the faculties from various institutions.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Ms. R. Vadivu Karasi, Assistant Professor of English, to introduce our Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Joseph Puipalli.
I did unmute, sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Vadivu Karasi, for inviting me over. I hope I'm audible now. Am I? Yes, thank you. Professor Dr. Meena Kumari, the Principal of the College. Monica Ramraj, the Associate Professor and Head of English Department. Convener Dr. R. Vadivu Karasi, the organizing committee members, and the coordinator of IQAC of the college. I'm indeed very privileged and happy to be here along with you in the APC Mahalakshmi College for Women, Thoothukudi. I'm only here to tell you about my experience with MOOC. Because, in the days of pandemic, I'm sure most of you are also facing the same problem of just as we do in this university here. You are also finding it difficult to communicate to your students. And MOOC courses have become very handy for us. The UGC stipulation right now is that we can take up to 40% of the courses a student has to take through MOOC. And MOOC means Massive Online Open Course. And in India, we offer it through a platform called SWAYAM. Worldwide, there are many organizations which give these massive online open courses, and most of the reputed universities in the world are also offering them. I'm sure you are all familiar with the online courses like offered by many forums like, say, Coursera, TED, and even some of the universities also do that. And in our country, we are extremely proud to say that the SWAYAM platform devised by the Government of India, MHRD, has come up in one of the big ways. It's one of the big service providers now across India. And it is offering courses to almost all divisions of education, right from the school days to postgraduate education. They're offering these services. So I would like to introduce you first to MOOC before I come to e-content. I I'm sure this course was about the e-content development, but first I would like to tell you about the MOOC part. Otherwise, you may not be able to appreciate the second part I'm trying to give you. So I would like to play that slide and share it with you. Just give me a second. Okay, I hope the Massive Online Open Course, or MOOC, is a free online course for anyone to enroll from anywhere in order to learn new skills. And there may be different purposes. One purpose may be to advance your career. The other purpose may be to enhance your qualification. And third purpose could be to get a component of
information ID.
Is there somebody wanted to talk?
Information exactly correct.
Excuse me, somebody's microphone is on.
Information hide but some may be privacy is correct, but customer side hide policies
Okay, Mr. Sridhar, your microphone is on.
phone pay அவனோட QC ஸ்கேனர் தான் ஸ்கேன் பண்ணுவோம், இல்ல நம்ம தான் அவன் அக்கௌண்ட் நம்பர் யாருன்னு நமக்கு தெரியாது, பேங்க் எங்க எதுவுமே நமக்கு தெரியாது. அவன் அனுப்புற மெசேஜ் அனுப்புனா பணம் கிரெடிட் ஆகுதா இல்லையா?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this some people otherwise accidentally keep their microphones on. That's okay. Where were you? I hope you can see my screen. Am I right? Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now, there may be different reasons why people might offer or join an online course called MOOC. In India, what we have is that we have 9 national coordinators through whom the MOOC is being, the MOOCs are being given. These are guided by 2 UGC regulations called the SWAYAM regulations 2016 and SWAYAM regulations 2019. As you can see on the screen, AICT, NPL, NPTEL, UGC, CEC, IAMB, NITTR, IGNO, NCERT, and NIOS. These are the 9 national coordinators that we can see. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you confirm, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these are the 9 national coordinators that we have. So in whichever sector you are, for example, my course on Shakespeare Across Cultures is a non-technology postgraduate elective course. So I am offering it through CEC. That is, earlier they were doing only the UG program, and the PG program was done by the UGC. Now recently there were some changes on the top hierarchy, so they have given the UGC has handed over these courses to CEC, and CEC is running these courses. So what do? I have to first get this program get my proposal accepted by the CEC. I did not go to the CEC as such, but I went to the UGC. They accepted. Later, they had to hand it over to the CEC. So depending on what program you are offering, for example, if it's a technology PG, you may have to go to AICTE, since there are people from different colleges out here or universities here. That's why I'm explaining this. If it is a technology course, undergraduate course, you go to NPTEL. But nowadays, they are also offering the PG courses. That's what I know. If it's a management education, IIM Bangalore is the forum They are not giving it to anybody. IIM Bangalore alone is offering these management education courses. Similarly, for teacher education, TTTR is the organization. And for the out-of-school education, that is open courses, open education, IGNO is a forum. And NCERT gives school education courses. If your children are studying in schools, you can offer, you can select some courses from NCERT. Or somebody can do through National Open School Education, NIOS also. Now, there are two ways in which these courses are run. One, this course is absolutely free. Absolutely free. There is no charge involved. So anybody, any Indian, can log in and take these courses by registering in them. But if you want a certification, you may have to write an examination, and that involves a minimal charge. This is not for profit that we are running this, or the government is running this. It's only to help our students, the new current generation of Indian students, to keep them up to date, to the best that the world can offer. So it's a free program, but for certification, if, for example, a student from the Mahalakshmi College, if they want to join for PG, if they want to take my course, they can take it two ways. If to learn the subject, they can join the course and they can take everything there. All the content will be free for you. But if you want a certificate to be part of your PG program from Mahalakshmi College and the university that you have, then you have to register in that course for examination. Examination will be conducted by CEC all across India. And then, when you write if you pass, the Central University of Kerala, that's where I am teaching from, the Central University of Kerala will give 4 credit for this course, and it will be given to we have already entered into an agreement with the UGC, and according to this credit framework regulations that you see down there, this will be passed on to the student in the form of a certificate. And the student will produce the certificate in your college or in the university there, and your college will have to give that 4 credit to the students as a part of your MA program. That is what the UGC credit and framework regulation will say. So, CEC means a consortium of educational communication, and this has got, right now it runs, it is a national coordinator for the PG and UG courses. It started in 1993. Now it is working through the 21 EMRCs across India in order to develop and disseminate digital education in India. In fact, it is the largest repository of digital content in India, perhaps in the world also. It's got produced a lot of material in different languages, and it keeps on producing a lot. You can see there are so many EMRCs across India. As a Mass Media Research Center, in Puducherry you have one. So there is something near you, or Madurai there is one, in Calicut there is one, in Chennai there is one. So 3 are there in Tamil Nadu itself. Unlike in some other states, Tamil Nadu is very rich in this EMRC. So you can always go to the EMRC and you can get your programs recorded there. So one of the major difficulty that we have is in producing the e-content. I will come to that in the next slide, in one of the following slides. In order to produce that, you have to get the services of a quality media developer. EMRC is given this task. CEC is dedicated for this. CEC runs EMRCs, and EMRCs are supposed to help you. So anyone who wants to develop this can go to EMRC. It is not compulsory that you have to go to them, but if you go to them, your life will be very easy. So what is the structure of the MOOC course? Every year, twice we call for admission. Well, there's a July semester and there's a January semester. And every year, twice we offer this course, just like in the semester system that we have. So people take, you can see, maybe thousands of people, 2 lakh people might appear, and finally only 2,000 people may get certificate. So it is not easy that everybody gets who is applying in this course may not get the certificate. They may have, some of them may not even write the exam. Even among those people who write the exam is a rigorous one. There is no compromise done. If the students want to be certified, they have to do very well in the examination. And also there is also this grading, different kinds of gradings are there. So twice every year we call for, that means in every year we have 2 semesters to run this program. And sometimes I may offer I offer only once in a year, not twice in a year, because this is also taxing for me also. So this is a credit regulation of 2016, which says that 20% of the credits can be taken. As students enroll in any educational institution in India can opt for credit through MOOC, and they are eligible for credit transfer, and up to 20% of the courses can be taken through SWAYAM. So no university, no college in India can now say, the student can take only our courses. No. Student is free to take an elective course from the SWAYAM. But are we going to, regulate the universities? No, that's not how it is. Your board of studies, your department meetings have to accept these courses. Only then the student will be eligible to take that course. Student can take up to 20% of the courses, but then only when your university's academic council or senate or syndicate, I don't know what is your body, they accept, anyway the academic forum, the highest academic forum accepts this course with the recommendation of the faculty council. Only then, or the board of studies of each program, only then these courses can be taken over by the others. In the 2021 regulations, the major change is that higher educations can allow only up to 40% of the total courses. It is not that the 40% of the courses must be taken. No, up to 40% of your higher education courses can be offered through SWAYAM platform. And they are asking the higher education institutions to change their statutes, ordinance, rules and regulations to adopt and incorporate this. And students to get credit and credit transfer. It is necessary according to 2021 regulations. And let me clarify certain things before we proceed. This is important. Because sometimes we say, we offer in the credit and semester system, we use these terminologies. One, course. Course stands for traditionally what we call a paper in a subject in a semester. People might confuse, they say BA course. No, it's not a BA course. It is a paper within the course that we call paper within the subject. That is what we call a course. For example, Shakespeare Across Cultures is a course. It's a course within the program. So BA is a program. Course is the paper that we teach in that particular program. And then this it works through credits. For example, my course, which I'm offering, has got 4 credits. Some other courses have got only 2 credits. I think there are not any course more than that credit in the UGC. Either a 2-credit course or a 4-credit course. This is how we work with the SWAYAM. And a credit course is a course for which credit transfer is possible. Sometimes there are 0-credit courses. For every course, there is a 20-hour lecture videos and 20 hours of content. In my course, I'm speaking about my course. There are 20 hours of lecture videos. That means this 20 hours won't come together. Instead, it will come like half an hour videos. It can be maybe even smaller. But then for convenience of telecasting, UGC has asked us to give 30-minute videos. These videos also appear in the SWAYAM Prabha channels. All the television networks are supposed to telecast these channels, these programs. So they are getting it right from the school to the PG courses. They are all telecasting it. So we'll give them 30-minute videos there. So 20-hour lecture videos and 20-hour text including assessment, assignments, quiz, ebook, transcript, FAQ, frequently asked questions, glossary, case studies, tutorials, references, and everything. We give them. At the end of it, the student gets a certificate for a certain number of credit, and this can be passed on. The student will be given the certificate by the CEC or the national coordinator, with the body with which they register for this course, and will be transferred to the student. And it can go into the academic record of the student by the parent institution. Parent institution means the institution where the student is actually studying. So from my university, as the host institution to the parent institution, the credit will be transferred. So these are the four major features of the SWAYAM. These are credit courses as well. There are non-credit courses. And the course components are 4: video lectures, downloadable, the assessments, and online discussion forum. The eligibility wise, anyone, anytime, anywhere. There is no question that if you are not qualified for MA, still you can register in these courses and take these courses. Only thing is that you will not get a certificate. You will not, even if you get a credit for that, then you cannot transfer that, because it depends on your host organization whether to transfer it. So anyone, anytime, anywhere can take these courses. The course fee is free. Absolutely free. This good quality material. I mean, almost all the subjects are covered. And to obtain the certificate, the learner need to appear for an exam and pay a nominal fee. This is the structure that we have. The primary stakeholders of this entire program, these are the ones. There's a national coordinator. I told you there are 9 national coordinators. And then the course coordinator. For example, I am a course coordinator. I come from a host university where I have the Central University of Kerala is offering 3 courses in SWAYAM. One in plant sciences, one in film studies, and one in Shakespeare across cultures. I am offering Shakespeare across cultures. So the national coordinator, the course coordinator, the host university, that is the university I am from, and the parent university, that's where the student is from, and the students. These are the 5 primary stakeholders, and of course the government and the society and the employer are all the secondary stakeholders out there. So I don't want to if you have any questions, we will come back to this slide. So I will go to the other slide where I think you may be more interested. I just wanted to tell you about this because you may have some questions regarding this later. So let me go to the other slide, which I have. Okay. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Okay, here is about the e-content development. This is our structure. This is what we will be going through. So what is e-learning? E-learning is because of the increased digitalization or digitization of the world. Wherever you go, you will find increased digitization. Every sphere of our life, from communication to education, anything. We find the advancements of technology is playing a very important role. The powerful and innovative digital devices and tools have made our life, transformed our life and reality of life like anything. Today we find that, for example, today I saw the news that most of the IT companies are more likely to make work from home a permanent feature. You can work from home now. So there is no barrier. Everything has changed. Students, some are now used to home education. There is no need for these school buildings now. So we are in for a revolution because of the internet technology. So what we find is that internet and strong devices and strong network have changed our lives. So the 21st century learner is used to the global classroom. There is no need that a student from Puducherry is studying only from Puducherry. There is no need. He can go to France and take a course from there. He can go to US and take a course from there. He is as comfortable as he is in the next school he is in. So there is no barrier, anyone, anytime, anywhere. Our mobile phones have become more powerful. Our computers have become more powerful. The social networking sites are rich in these contents. So we integrate all these in order to make our teaching more effective. And we try to improve our teaching and learning through digital content and devices. You find that nowadays, earlier, maybe about 5 years ago, before the COVID pandemic, students and teachers all denied students from using their mobile phone. Nowadays, we are supplying them with mobile phone. Use it. The world has changed. Reality has changed. So the way we understand the world as teachers, the older generation understands the world, is quite different from what the younger generation understands. For example, you know that from your practical experience, when you give a mobile phone to your student, your child, they will do hundreds of things with that. Maybe we might be using only for making some primary needs, maybe maximum to LinkedIn accounts or maximum to make a bank payment and all that. But they can do hundreds of things with that. They are very comfortable with that. So the generation is used to that. So what happens is that we need to improve, enhance our delivery of teaching according to their expectations. Their memory, attention span is limited. There is no need for memorization as we used to do. We had to memorize many things when we were students. For example, the mathematics tables that we learned by heart. How important is it today is a different question. They understand the world in a different way. And actually, it's not because they don't understand it. It's because they have something beyond that to do. That's how the world is today. So we need to understand the meaning or create meaning, and we have to set new standards for our e-content. E-content means the content that we deliver through the electronic media for the educational purposes. And the learning objects are also different. So what should we do? We design and develop digital resources for teaching and learning with a certain standards in our mind. We need to provide them with certain with a certain objective in our mind in such a way that they are comfortable with it. So if you look at the e-content module and content duration, it depends. As I've already told you earlier, the content duration depends on the number of hours required to transact the content in the classroom. It's generally accepted that 2.5 hours of your normal teaching is equal to 30 minutes module that you prepare for an e-content. Actually, when you prepare an e-content, you might even spend more, maybe weeks, in order to just develop that e-content. So when you prepare the e-content, it is a condensed form that you are giving them. In a PG program, for example, you normally have 72 to 80 credits. That's the standard across India. Maybe it differs from university to university, but generally, on an average, we can say 72 to 80 credits is that what we give. And in our university, it is 72 credits. My course, for example, that I offer is a 4-credit PG elective course called Shakespeare Across Cultures. It has got 40 units. It has got 40 units means 40 units containing 30-minute videos. So 40 30-minute videos. and 400 word text units, and then 40 quizzes, and 6 assignments, a final examination, and then online discussion forum for each of these units. This is what generally that we give to my students. And at the end of it, after submitting all the assignments, they will go through what we call the end semester assessment or a final examination. So 1 credit we can somewhat say is almost like 1 contact hour in a week in a PG program, in an arts program. That's how it is designed. 1 credit means 1 contact hour in a classroom. Usually we run it for 15 weeks. So 1 credit practically means 15 teaching hours. So a 4 credit means 60 teaching hours. That's what we give. But then we condense it to 40 units in my course. I mean, that's the standard that the UGC has set. So 1 e-content module contains 30 minutes, that is almost equivalent to 2.5 hours of classroom teaching. The content development is a responsibility of the CEC. But the CEC cannot stand alone. It's an organization instituted by the government of India, and they need our support. Our support means the support of the academics, support of the technologists, support of the media houses like EMRC or MCRC, EMRC, or also independent production agencies can also play a role. Anyone can play a role in that, the last part. But this has to be accepted by the CEC's Academic Standing Committee. It is they who select and engage a course coordinator for developing an e-course, e-content development course. For example, I gave an application to the UGC against their advertisement, and I was interviewed. I had to send them a video, small video, 5 minutes to them. After looking at that, they decided, and then I gave also the text along with that, the way I developed the text. I sent it to them, and they, in the Academic Standing Committee of the CEC, accepted it. At that time, not the CEC, it was the UGC. UGC's Academic Standing Committee accepted the course and asked me to develop 2 modules of 30 minutes, videos and text and quizzes, and the discussion forum questions and interaction. And then they accepted. Okay, now some of them they rejected, not mine. Many others were given, they rejected after that, but mine fortunately they accepted. And then I was asked to develop all the modules, that is other 38 modules also. And they gave us the funding for that. And funding, when they give, they also tell you how to spend the funding. For example, the person who is presenting, how much money is to be given to them. The person who is writing the course, how much is to be given to them. The person who is reviewing the course, or the persons, professors who are reviewing the course, and technical experts who are reviewing the videos, the sound, and then the shooting expenses, how much is to be paid to them. And travel expenses, how much can you buy? And in order to buy some, books or some other equipments, how much can you use? All these, their stipulation will tell you exactly how much you can do. And what does the CEC Standing Committee do? They select and engage a course coordinator to develop an e-content or e-course. In this case, UGC selected me, the course coordinator, to develop the e-course called Shakespeare Across Cultures. And they meet once in 3 months. Every 3 months they will get these proposals from many people. And they review these proposals, accept some, deny some, and award some. And they will also, sometimes they say you go to this production agency or production house. In my place, my nearest production house is about 5 hours away from my place. So I said, I cannot go there. So they said, okay, you can develop your own production house if you have one. So we are producing it in the university itself. Otherwise, I could have gone to the EMRC at Calicut University and they would have accepted it. And they recommend the number of modules and the financial package offered. Sometimes they will say, this is not worth a 4-credit course, this is only worth a 2-credit course. And 2-credit courses, only 20 modules are necessary. 4-credit modules, 40 modules are necessary, and so on. And then they might even restrict it. They might give you some suggestions, because the standing committee is an expert committee and decide on issues of the content development. If I have some problems, I can tell them and they will resolve it. And engage one course coordinator for each of the e-course. So in the content development, there are two parts. There's a course development and a module development. As a CC, or the course coordinator, what I am doing is a course development. I will draw the outline, the syllabus for my course, that particular paper. In the 40 modules, are designed from the first module to the last module, 40th module. Sometimes, if I want, I can write the whole thing. I can present the whole thing. But that may not be practically feasible. So what we will do is that for each module, each unit that you have, you may select some other person to do that. For example, I have tried to get the best people in India in this subject, Professor Harish Trivedi, Professor Poonam Trivedi, Professor Umata Hasim, and so on. I've selected different people and asked them to write the content, and I asked them to present the content. And some of the modules I have written. Most of the modules I have written in this particular course. The others also help me in doing that. So we need to frame the syllabus for each of these modules. Each of the module, my standard technique, this may not be a standard one for others, but in my course, what I did is that my 30-hour modules I have divided into 5 or 6 units. 5 or 6 units, either 5 to 6 minutes long. So all my modules will have within it 5 or 6 smaller units of 5 to 6 minutes long. So it is easy for me to shoot a video 5 to 6 minutes long. It's easy for me to write a text of about 500 to 600 words. That's all what we need to deliver the content on the video. So that's what we do. So it's a 30-minute video and a text of 5,000 words for the e-content. And then I have to make sure that the content that I take is my own and not is a copyrighted content or is not a plagiarized content. I cannot use somebody else's material and write. And then if I write, I have to follow the rules of conventions of copyright and also of citations. So my own content I can develop, I can pass it on. I can identify the content directors or subject matter experts, SME, subject matter experts. I'm also a subject matter expert. In the same way, the people who are developing my modules are also subject matter experts. For example, I can ask Professor Vadivakarasi in your college to develop a particular module for me, and then she becomes a subject matter expert. Then it is not necessary that I have to make all the presentations. If I think that my presentation is not good, or my pronunciation is not good, or if I am not capable of doing that, I can engage somebody else to present on the video. Or it is not that, it is just to be a monologue. No, it is not like that. It can be a dialogue, or it can be a discussion. It can be actually a teaching classroom. There are so many ways in which you can develop this course content. So this delivery module. Sometimes you can talk to an expert in that area. For example, in my course, I have used interviews with the famous Shakespeare actors from India. People who have who had been in London, for example. London Shakespeare Theatre. I had a clipping where, the actual Present Globe Theatre is shot and presented. I had my people there, so I asked them to do that. So identify the video presenters. And then which background should you present? That's another thing for you. You can use a plain background like this, or you can go for an outdoor shooting, or you can do a shooting on the location. Some of the locations may also be good. So you can do so many things. You can identify 2 academic reviewers for each of the content that you write. A subject matter expert writes something to you, or you write something for the module, but then that is not enough. This has to be approved by 2 academic reviewers. So I have to identify who are my two academic reviewers. So I generally go for the toughest people who will find the most number of mistakes, not somebody who is going to pass everything that I give to them. Okay, I have gone through that. The subject matter experts goes through that, and then I give it to very tough academic reviewers who are professors of universities, and I ask them to please correct that. There is a remuneration for them also. So they correct it and they give it to us, and then after that I allow this subject matter expert to make the presentation, make the videos. Then the video, I will send it to a technical expert. Technical expert, somebody who is in that field, somebody who is working in EMRC, or somebody who is teaching in the mass media communication, to check the quality of the sound, check the quality of the videos. So if there's a mechanism in place, it's pretty easy. After the production, will go to them, and they will say, okay, this part is not right, this sound is not good there, or this video is not there. For example, your appearance in the video is not the right one. So you may have to shoot from this particular angle, there is no light, there is a problem in the sound. So I have to correct that. Then I have to upload this in the SWAYAM website. This can be done by if you give the whole package to the EMRC, they will do the shooting, they will do the technical review, and they will do the uploading, and they will do the editing. There is no problem. That's why I said if you go to an EMRC, it's easy for you to do that. But then the subject content is something that you have to do that. Or you, or your technical review, your academic reviewer and the subject matter expert have to do. There we cannot help. And the subject matter, what does the subject matter expert do? Or if you are the course coordinator who is writing a module, then what do you have to do? You have to propose the courses in accordance with the prevailing curriculum for the PG or the UG. After conducting a relevance and need analysis. There is no need to give a course that everybody gives. So this is the relevance of this course, Shakespeare Across Cultures, is a course that not many people give. So there is a vacuum, and it is such courses that are generally accepted. And then you have to define the level in which you are going to give it. Are you going to give it the basic level, or are you going to give it the advanced level? And what are the course requirements? A student, for example, mine I have defined as a PG course. PG elective course. So naturally, anybody who is coming to and doing an MA English program can do this program. That's something that I have to say. And the duration, and for me it is a 40-hour program lasting a semester or 15 weeks. Number of teaching modules, how many modules are they going to submit me an assignment? All these things I have to design, and that is to be mapped. And then give a measurable objectives and learning outcomes. After doing this course, what will you be able to do? This is something that I have to state you in advance. The assessment and evaluation strategies, course outline, etc. I have to give it to them. And prepare and produce and edit the course within the stipulated time. The first UGC will give you about 10 days of time to produce a content, the initial first video. And then they will give you a month's time to produce 2 videos and send it to them. For 2 units to be given to them. And then they will normally give about 1 year to produce your whole content, the whole course content, 40 modules. You have to produce and upload within 1 whole year. This is the general framework. You have to stick to that. Otherwise, by the time I start producing it, they will start uploading it, and students will be registering there. If the students are registered there and they don't get the videos, then there will be a problem. We actually had a problem. Frankly speaking, I had a problem here when I couldn't complete all my modules in the first 2018. When I started, I couldn't do all the modules. That's because my videographer out here had a problem. So it was a difficult time for me, but then fortunately because of the cooperation with the CEC, I could overcome that. And then we have to ensure that the content is free of plagiarism and free of copyright issues. Otherwise, this content you are hosting it in the platform of the government of India. And the government of India can be sued by a person if it infringes his copyright. So you have to give an undertaking that it is your responsibility. You have gone through the whole course, whole content, and it is free of plagiarism. The EMRC also will have to do that. It's their job to check it, and then they will produce it. So plagiarism, quality, and the copyright issues, all these have to be resolved. It should be high quality in terms of production. It should be high quality in terms of production. It should be high quality in terms of the content, in delivery, and so on. Then you have to correct and edit. Even after submitting all these things, the UGC might tell you, okay, this is not fine, this is not good enough. You may have to correct this portion, you have to edit this portion, maybe the time is more, time is less. So you have to adjust that. And your peer review team will tell you this is what is required. So you have to go with that. And you have to give to the CEC the copyright of everything that you have developed, because they are funding you. Without your copyright, without them getting the copyright of the video and the text and the modules and whatever other deliverables, they will not be able to host it. Otherwise, you can object to that. So you have to give them the copyright. Now, after that, UGC has now given us the permission. If you want to print a book out of it, there is no problem. Only thing is that acknowledge that it is done with the UGC help. That's all. Sorry, I'm in a class. Then what is the subject content writer or the subject matter expert has to provide? When you start applying for it, you have to, and in every video you have to say this, your name, your designation, your organization, and in the beginning of your course you will say a brief biography about yourselves, the whole content of the program, the mobile numbers, the email ID, etc. you have to give to them. So anybody can contact you. And then you have to transfer the copyright, as we have already said, and submit after ensuring that the content is original and not plagiarized, and give undertaking that the lectures, etc. do not violate the copyright. This is something that you have to give to them. And now I will come to the main part. The subject matter is to be provided in 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants means there are 4 units. If I take a circle and divide it into 4, each quarter is what you call a quadrant. And within each quadrant, there are certain things. The first quadrant is what you call the text that you develop, or the electronic text that you develop. What is the electronic text? It's a detailed write-up on the topic of the modules as per the content structure. As I told you, I have 40 modules which has a module outcome, as a unit outcome. So I'm very definite, if you study this unit, this is the outcome of it. You will become familiar with this, or you will acquire this. So I have to be that clear. So in about 40 modules, that means I have about 200 to 250 small units, apart from the introduction and the conclusion. If you include those, the number will go high. It will be coming to about 300. So practically 300 small units you have to develop. Introduction, 5 to 6 units, conclusion. So it will be manageable. Even when you write also, it becomes manageable for you. To talk about a particular theme for 5 minutes, it's not very difficult for us. All of us can do that. But then put them into an entire framework is your job. So that is the first quadrant. A detailed write-up on the topic of the module as per content structure. And then you use multimedia supplements. Sometimes you can put into your e-text, you can put images, or you can use animations, you can use graphics. And within that you can put small video clips. That's another way of putting into the e-text. Because it's an e-text, you can give a link and you can put a video text there. Or sometimes it may be simple graphs that you write, maybe written with your pencil, or maybe a picture of a board where you are giving a line drawing. And it's up to the content, content that you are delivering, what kind of graphics should be included, what kind of image should be included. That depends on you. That's your quality. Second one is the second quadrant, that is self-learning. The student has to learn on his own. And for that, what we provide is a video. That's the video content. A video tutorial to explain the topic of the module. That is basically what everybody sees is only the video part. Video is pretty easy to make once you become familiar with shooting. It's pretty easy to make, but the process that goes behind it is more difficult. There you may use multimedia, animations, documentary, simulation, virtual lab, smart boards, PPTs, everything you can use there to improve this videos. Generally, about 20% of the time, your face can be visible. As you can see, right now I am using PPTs to talk to you, and it is easy for you to understand what I am trying to say rather than looking at my face itself. My face can, after some time, it becomes very boring. But you can also see this in the inset, maybe, depending on the kind of view format that you have selected. You can see that how you can see me and how you can see the text that I am projecting. It's up to you. You can customize it. But in the video that we provided in the UGC module or on the SWAYAM module, that is not possible for the students. So we make it sure that about 25% of the time, or 20 to 25% of the time, I appear on the screen. And the remaining 75% of the time, it should be some kind of graphics, multimedia, animations, documentary, or some clips, or somebody's talks, or some virtual lab productions, or other things, or images. We can keep giving it to them. In the third quadrant, where student is asked to learn more or further learning on his own, or further reading, or we may give them web resources. I have given a lot of web resources in my course. For example, I can suggest student to the Shakespeare sites, important Shakespeare sites, internet sites, where they can go and see more. Within the half an hour module, I cannot give all these to them. So I can direct them, okay, you go there and see that. That will be easy for the student. So as a student, it is our job to kindle the interest in the students. That's all what we do. We just encourage them to do something more. So supplementary reading materials or the topic or the module in different forms, like other related to the teaching materials. That's what we give. Maybe books, maybe articles. I can refer to an article in a journal. I can refer to a books, or I can give to the websites on the topic. So this is what we give them in the third quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, there is no need for us to say that, to sound intelligible, I have to talk in a very complicated manner. No, that is a foolishness, as we all know. At our stage of education, we know that there is no point in talking in a complicated manner. The better you are, the simpler you can become. The more you know, you can be very elementarily simple. Because you want to communicate certain things, and if you know it very clearly, you can say it in a very simple manner. But if you do not know it, it becomes very complicated. So my experience is that it is those people who do not know a thing in detail or well, who actually make it very complicated. Why should we do that? We are trying to help the student. And moreover, I am not there to help the student when he speaks, when he listens to me in the audio or the video. So let him or let her hear this in a very simple manner, in the most communicative manner, so that I need not answer any of his questions any further. So use a simple language, be systematic, and be logical in your presentation. Don't leave the student confused at the end of it. Ideally, that should be what we should do. So a unit must consist of the e-text part of the quadrant must consist of self-check exercises, examples, and applications from day-to-day life. If I can tell them, for example, in one of my videos, I begin like this, this is the place. where in Kasaragod, this, a tempest was played to mark the 500th anniversary of Shakespeare. Or this is the sea through which Shakespearean text came crossing to us. I was shooting from the background of the Arabian Sea. And this is the place where Vasco da Gama landed in India. This is where the foreign occupation began. And this is where the English came. And this is where our, the English built their fort. So we begin like that, and this is the first educational institution in, they built in South India, for example. The British built in South India. So when you, Fort William College, or Fort George as you have there, so all these things will kindle some interest in the students. Or this is a place where, this is the house of the first translator of Shakespeare. Or this is a text of the first Malayalam translation of Shakespeare. When students actually see that, they become more interested, instead of being more, abstract. So we use appropriate illustrations, images, maps, graphics, 3D or 2D graphics we use. And then appropriate websites, URLs, we give them for them their further reference. And we also tell them about the latest developments and trends in this field. And we summarize the unit at the end of it. To do is that when you develop your font, for example, for printing the text, use a very simple font. Either a Times New Roman font or an Arial font. Right now I am projecting you this text in a Calibri font. These are all standard fonts available. Uncomplicated kind of fonts. Don't put them in the classical fonts or some kind of fonts which are difficult to read. Maybe it looks good, but then it distracts a student from processing the information that you have to give them. Uniform font, uniform style, single line spacing, sequential page numbers. These are very simple things. But then these all become very important when you put everything as a unit. How to format the sections and the subsections and the sub-subsections. For example, the numbering of the sections should be 1, 2, 3 and should be in the bold. And subsections should be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. And the subsection can be 2.1.1, 2.1.1.2 and so on. And that can be given in italics in the margin, so that we understand the text of which portion is this text coming from. We can all identify that. So even paragraph wise, we can give that kind of numbering. So it will look like a standard text available to them. And the same is applicable in the case of the audio and video. You have to make certain standards. Delivery of the content should be through 30-minute videos. These 30-minute videos, again, you can subdivide it into 4 or 5 smaller units in that. That's up to you. And it can include multimedia, animation, documentary, simulation, virtual lab, classroom shooting, and so on. It's up to you, your imagination. What is the background that you have to give? Anyway, the background has to be silent. It should not be distracting. These are the only main things that you have to note. And you should appear sober. If I appear here in a very gaudy dress, I'm not a film star. I'm a teacher. I have to communicate certain things to the students. And talk in the most clear manner. And it should not be a spoken tutorial. For example, if I start, if I take a text from here and start reading it from here, that looks a bit absurd. That's not a spoken tutorial. Rather, you have to communicate to the student. Look into the lens of the camera. Now you can see, for example, you might feel that I'm looking at you. I have to imagine that you are there. And if I look at the lens of the camera, you can find that, I am communicating directly to you. That is the kind of eye contact that you have to maintain. And then you should not be, we already said that, you should appear in the video not less than 25% of the time. It's not that, I give you this text and behind the text I am giving you a voiceover. No, that is not how it is. And the whole text is given there and I am reading that text. I've gone to many of the seminars where, I find that the students, when they come, make their first presentations, they will project their text on the screen and they will start reading it. Well, that comes with experience. After some times, you have to, there's no point in you are already supplied the text, then why are you reading it? You give the text, and if you are given the text, tell them this is what you mean. Or you can display graphics, you can display animations or PowerPoint presentations, or even relevant visuals or videos. You can add, and then you can use your voice to supplement that. You can add demonstrations, illustration of examples, so on. And the format of the video is also very important. It should have good quality. And ideally, what I used, it is not very difficult. It's not very difficult, to develop a good quality video these days. All you have to do is either you can have a very good video camera to shoot that. If you go to an EMRC, all these problems they will take care of it. But if you are developing this, then you have to be a bit careful. The kind of camera that you use is important. Nowadays, even our ordinary mobile phones may have this capacity. But it's always good to use a professional camera. I used Canon 5D camera. This is what I used. I used 2 Canon 5D cameras to shoot from 2 different angles. One from straight and one from a side angle, so that if there is an editing is to be done, it can be done seamless with the other camera. Sometimes, this is what happens is that I might have to make a break. There might be some interruption. There may be some voice. There may be a phone call that disturbs my shooting. So a cut is necessary at that space. And I'm sure Tamilians are very good at the cinema editing part, and you understand things much better than what we do. So anyway, that front camera is to be edited at that time, and then the side camera can be added, continuing with that, so that it goes in a seamless manner. So the person watching the video will not also feel any difficulty about that. But then both these cameras should have the same kind of quality. It is MPEG 4 kind of video, and then at least 720 to 576 pixel size, 25 frames per second, and 450 resolution for 3 Mbps for incorporation to the template and so on. But basically use a good camera, high definition camera, and use good sound. More than the visual, it's the sound that matters. If there's a disturbance in the sound, I'm sure our lecture will be spoiled. That's why I was extremely conscious when somebody was speaking in the lecture, or there's some kind of disturbance came up, some microphone was turned on. You find that this is going to go into the quality of your video. So that might get affected. So you have to make sure that you have to invest in a good microphone, invest in 2 good cameras. If you are going to a studio, a good studio of EMRC, they have higher definitions. And they have different techniques. For example, you can have Chrome background, and then background can be, you can show that you are sitting, or even in Google Meet I can do that. Right now I can switch on my camera, I can give a background that I am sitting in the sea, or in a beach, or in a classroom, or in my library. These are all possibilities, but provided my background is Chrome. There, it is, then people won't be even able to recognize it. So it's up to you how good you are producing that. And the presentation, when you make a presentation, you can use your presentation in your PPT, for example. It's just now what I'm doing right now. It can be through PPT, and avoid using long blocks of text. So, for example, when I see the PPT, my lines generally doesn't exceed number 7. That's generally what I keep, so that a person on the other end can also read and understand. And they will find my voice is actually supplementing the information given on the PPT. So use many, but don't give a huge block of text and start reading it. There is no point in doing that. There is no need to read what is already written in the PPT. Preferably use bulleted points. So people are intelligent, the audience, you people sitting out there, you are maybe as intelligent or more intelligent than me. So there is no point in me telling you or reading the whole text to you. You might find after some days, you might find that you are being challenged, or I don't respect you when I give you both the text and also read it to you. And use standard fonts. This is very simple. Use standard fonts like Arial. When you make a presentation in a PPT, you don't use a Times Roman font. You usually a sans serif font you use because to make it clear. Arial is a good one. Calibri is a good one. Helvetica is you are all using computers, so you know which are the fonts. There are certain standard fonts available with the PPT. In MS Word, for example, in PowerPoint or in Apple's format, Keynote, and all that, they give you a standard format or standard fonts. So use those standard fonts, and you should always remember that the student is going to watch maybe from his from his laptop, maybe from his mobile phone. So make sure that your font size is not small, not too big. It should ensure clear visibility for the student. Anybody who is watching, remember, you are not the end user of it. The other person sitting or watching you is the end user. So use graphic images as clearly as possible, as much as possible, but to use them appropriately. That's very, very important. You must use them appropriately. And you can use more resources. You can give them web resources. Is about the supplementary materials. We have already spoken about this as books, articles, research papers, case studies, websites. You can even give the links to additional readings, for example, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a very good site. Only thing is that it is not very authentic because people can play with it. Otherwise, generally the content is very good, very, very good. And it's up to date. And blogs, for example. Some of the brilliant blogs are there. A Shakespearean blog, for example, that's a very famous one. You can go there and find out. And the open source content is available in some places, some universities, some libraries, they give open source content. So give them the Project Gutenberg, for example. They give open source content to you. So wherever authentic sources are available, give it to them. And then you have to give a glossary of terms used in in your material. And what is your responsibility as a course coordinator? The course coordinator has to frame syllabus, introduce improvements in the syllabus, choose a subject expert, assign modules to content development to subject matter experts, and develop text and course material as per the directions given by the CEC or the e-content template. They will give you a format. Use that and produce e-content modules and assign it to the production agency, that is the EMRC, for example, give it to them and preview it. The programs produced, clarify its correctness, and give it to the reviewers. Respect their reviews. Always make sure that if they find one mistake, you are saved. Hundreds of people are going to watch it, or thousands of people are going to watch it. And every time, instead of getting criticized, it's good to accept the criticism of the toughest reviewer. They will tell you, okay, this is not good, this is not right. You go use your judgment and then you accept it. But then, usually what I do is that I accept the criticism of my reviewers totally. Because they are my good friends of mine, but they are also toughest critics of mine. I keep such friends. And their suggestions have always helped. And incorporate also the suggestions suggested by the CEC. The standing committee might suggest you some kind of corrections. Incorporate that also. And then usually 1 lakh rupees is given in a semester to a CE for developing the content or to run the module. See, there are two parts of it. One is about 13.5 lakh rupees is what is given to develop a 40 module e-content course, including all the 4 quadrants. 13.5 lakh was the money that was granted in 2018. So for a module, it comes to something like 35,000 or 36,000 rupees. Within that, I have to manage everything: shooting, editing, payment remunerations, travel, everything I have to manage within that. It comes to that, they have a standard payment system. For a camera, you can pay this much. For video editing, I can pay this much. So the money is almost fixed. And after producing this, then you can offer these courses every year to the university, through the UGC, through the website. Once you do that, every year when you run it, or every semester when you run it, it depends on the number of students enrolled in your course that you are paid. If there are more than 500 registrations, you will be paid about 1 lakh rupees for that particular running that course. And that is enough work is there. For every week you have to ensure that, okay, these modules are uploaded. Every week you have to say you are answering the questions. Every week you have to say that there is a discussion forum. You correct the assignments, upload the marks, because students' life depends on this. Because of your mistake, the student should not be penalized. That affects the quality of your program, not only your program, the credibility of the UGC itself, or the SWAYAM program itself can be questioned. So 1 lakh rupee for course to the CC is given. But in case, suppose I am not able to continue this after some time, I fall sick or I have to take a leave, I have some other engagement. So I might engage another CC course to somebody in charge of mine, and this money will be divided to them proportionately. Remember, there are two components. One is a course component, the other is the content development. Course component is what the course coordinator does. For example, all the course syllabus was designed by me in my course. I am the course coordinator CC of Shakespeare Across Cultures. All the 40 modules I designed. But what is in each module, it is depend on the subject matter expert who is doing that. For example, in the module Shakespeare and Colonialism, for example, Professor Sujesh was the SME for that, and he developed that module. Of course, we discussed many things and we changed many things, but then it is his module. I have to oversee that in overall it falls within it is suitable for me. The e-content syllabus, as per the UGC, once I am reiterating some of the past points that we said, go for the UGC model curricula, and each module should have the following things. This is the structure of the module. This is the final slide. I am stopping here, and now it's almost time. So if you have any questions, we can answer that. Within each module, you have to give an introduction. There's a home. Objectives, you have to state that. You have to map, okay, this is what is going to come. A subject and mapping should be given, and the summary should be provided, and the text should be provided with the case studies, frequently asked questions. You should conceive all these. And then you have to provide the video and the audio, and you have to give the assignments, either as quiz or as tutorial. Tutorial is what you're going to consult through the online meeting that you have with the students. And then you give the reference material, provide the glossary, provide the links, and downloadable links you can provide. And if you have a blog, you can maintain that, and you can also give your contact number. You need to identify the points, the graphics, the animation, the other information. 12,000 rupees per module for the academic content is given. 15,000 for everything for the subject matter. But then if you are presenting also on the camera, you might get about 15,000 rupees. If you develop the course, and then if you get it reviewed, and if we get it, this technical review, editing is done, everything is done, is about 15,000 rupees for the SME. And then you have to create a question bank as a learning object repository, LOR, which will be available with the UGC with answers to them. It can be either a short answer, or it can even include a video, and I can play a video and ask them, okay, what's the kind of question that you are going to ask? I can ask a question based on that. Or I can give an objective question. Or I can give a true or false question. So such question bank should be given, covering that particular module, that particular unit, and then give it to them. I have more slides, then I don't want to go into that. Here I am trying to stop, and if you have any questions, maybe it's time for we can ask, we can have some interaction if you want. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insight on developing e-content. We will go ahead and take some time for question session for the participants. Dear participants, this meeting is now open for sharing.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Joshua.
Yes, sir. This is Dr. Joshua from Bishop Appasani College, Coimbatore.
Right, sir. Nice meeting you. Yes.
Yes, sir. So I have been using this LMS for the classes. I mean, during this COVID session. So I have been using Canvas. Right. So in Canvas, we can't. I mean, there are options for recording video lectures, and there are options for taking the quizzes and all. But how can we incorporate that in SWAYAM? I mean, how can I upgrade my content in SWAYAM? Because I have already been using this LMS.
Yeah, you are using your LMS.
If I want,
I got your question. You are using your LMS and you are using a low quality video. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the problem. One is that your low quality video. There are two parts to it. These videos that you develop for SWAYAM will also be used in the television. There are channels. If you browse your channels, you will find channels called SWAYAM Prabha, the UGC channels. They are also using in that one. So a low quality video cannot be used there. So what you need to do is that once you have already done your LMS, but have you mapped all your subject? That's the first. The entire.
That is my next question, sir.
Yes.
That is my next question.
Yeah, yes, Joshua, please continue.
Yes, I'm handling one paper for this semester for MA class, for example. Right. So, I mean, I cannot, put all the 40 modules at once. Right. So, what I do is, whenever I take class or the previous day or the week before, I collect all the materials and I put that in LMS like Canvas, and then I share it with the students. Right. So when I take class also, maybe I can use that for the live session class. Right. So what happens is all these materials that I use are piled up here. Right. So if I take, for example, British literature for one semester, right? So if this particular paper that I'm handling, will it be, will it be used further, or will it be used for the next year also, right, in SWAYAM, right? Because it is said that in SWAYAM, if you have, I have already attended another MOOC presentation earlier, sir. In that, another sir was saying like the same content can be given in the next year, right? By adding more students to it. If you have 400 or 500 students each year attending to your session, I mean, you will be get paid. Ultimately, all our efforts are to get, the monetary benefit, right? So I just have a question like, how can I transfer this LMS that I'm doing now into SWAYAM? How can I approach for the SWAYAM thing?
Yeah. Now, a couple of things that you have. One, you have the first question that you already have your LMS outlined. Sorry, I just come back when somebody urgently called. So, I'm in a meeting. Yeah, a class at the I'll call you later. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for that. It's an emergency call. Yes. You said that you already have an LMS and you have not mapped out your complete subject. What you need to do that when you are given a subject, you have to map it out completely. What are you going to do? For example, I have 2 credits. 2 credit means in a semester I have 32 classes, 32 hours to meet the students. So in the 32 sessions, what am I going to teach them? In MOOC, you have to convert this 32 into 20. Because for a 4 credit course, you are given 40 modules. So 10 modules for 1 credit. That's how the UGC has conceived it. So For you, a 2-credit course will mean about 20 units. 20 units means 20 half-an-hour videos, 20 400 words e-text, 10 questions, and all the 4 quadrants that you have to see, and the web resources and so on. This is something that you have to develop. And all this must be your own material. You cannot take some material from somewhere else, and then you can say that this is my own. You cannot pass it on like that. That will be only given as a link as far as we are concerned. In SWAYAM, it will only be a link. So you need to conceive the whole of your lesson into 20 different units or modules, and then develop that 20 different modules systematically. I told you this is from my practical experience. I can tell you, for each module, for each of these half an hour thing, or for the 4,000 word write-up, you divide it into 5 small units. Introduction, 5 small units, and their conclusion. So you will get almost 7, or maybe sometimes, depending on the subject, it may become 6 units. So develop like that, and then you start presenting it systematically. Over a period of time, is a good thing that you start with LMS, because then you, through trial and error, you will know which is good, which is bad, which is repeating, and all that. We will be able to know that. So try to do that. That's the first part. Second part, you asked me whether whether it can be repeated. Yes. What happens is that this course, this is a subject which is being repeated every year. But then after 3 years, UGC has the policy to review it. You can, they say, they use a technical word for that. You can, after 3 years, if you want, you will be given additional money to recreate the whole content. But I can tell you, monetary terms, this is not exactly a good proposition. To get a lot of money, we won't get that much of money here. For example, in my course, I have got 2 research scholars with me who are looking at all my evaluations, who are going to say meeting the students. Only very few times that I go and personally meet the students. It is my research scholars, and they are paid from this money that whatever I am getting, they are paid with that. And then in order to make changes in the courses, yes, maybe I will get about say 22,000 rupees. That's what I get. Other money will go to the research scholars. So it is not monetarily, it is not a very advantageous, proposition, considering the time that you're investing. But you can always be satisfied that you're being seen, you're being listened to, and you're being acknowledged. For example, right now, I have the fortune of talking to you almost 100 people because of my production in this contribution in this e-content area. That's the only reason why I'm called here. So you can get yourself recognized, acknowledged, and then this is the way we pass on our, we get to know each other. That's the bigger thing here. And every 3 years, UGC has the option to, to refurbish your entire course content. But then they will give you 13 lakh rupees. Even the 13 lakh rupees that you get, actually, to be very frank, the cameras that I bought, I cannot keep it because it's coming from the fund. So the cameras that I bought was the only thing that I could generate here, and that is going to the university now. Because after completing the course, after purchasing it in the universities, it goes to the university's resource. The cameras have gone to the university. So what am I left with? Well, there is nothing. So monetary terms, well, it is not a very advantageous proposition, but then you can record it, you can present it, and if only you are good in a subject, the UGC is going to select you. That's the way it works. But then your suggestion is good. You can use your LMS. Through LMS, you can develop the content, and over a period of time, you can have a file, course file for your program. And using that content, you can systematically break it down to 5-minute, 6-minute units for preparing for videos, and for example, 10-minute reading for the e-text, and then systematically over a period of time you can do that. That's my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just consider me as, just, one of you, and then ask me any questions that you want. I'll be sharing this, the presentation that I made. I will share it with Dr. Vadivakarashi, and you can have it from her.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Vidya from Trichy.
Yes, Dr. Vidya.
Sir, is there any repository for us to know the titles of the previously developed courses, sir? So
Yes. You can go to this website, so you type all SWAYAM Central. SWAYAM Central. Yes, there, if you go, you will find all the courses deposit. You can find all the details about SWAYAM there. SWAYAM Central, and you search in the Google for it, and you will get all the details about SWAYAM courses, either for registration or for even to opt for the courses. Usually they send it to the universities. Every year they will send to the university the notification regarding the launching of the SWAYAM courses. They will invite a proposal from the universities and colleges, and they will do that. First, I would suggest, first, before entering into it, you make sure that you have these 40 modules structure ready, and at least 2 modules you prepare, and then you go for it. So it will be easy for you. Don't jump into it suddenly, but take some time, prepare your 40 module structure or a 20 module structure for a 2-credit course, 40 module structure for a 4-credit course, and prepare 2 modules in advance with all the 4 quadrants. Be very clear about your course objective, course outcome, unit outcome, module outcome, and everything. Spell it out very, very clearly. And for your shooting, develop a storyboard. Storyboard is that you might speak, your face might appear sometime. This in this place, this video or this image or this graphic is to be added. Develop that. It will come with a habit after some time. Naturally, what I did was that I took my notebooks. On one page I wrote these texts. On the other page I left for these comments to add what image to add where. That will come there. But that's only a suggestion. It's up to you. Sorry, Dr. Raghuraman, I cannot hear you.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. Would like to have some couple of questions. One is, I would like to have a little more detail on this, the module that you have explained to prepare. Is it possible to connect with you separately in person, over phone or mail? Can you share your contact?
Yes, I will share all my details are with Dr. Vadivakarashi. You can contact her. You will get that.
That is one. Second one is, second one is on the material. You said the video material that we can create, the graphics. Is there any sort of a thought on giving it also in a verbal description? Because there may be candidates or participants with a visual impairment who will be joining there, and or people with learning disabilities. Is there any norm added to that, sir?
I don't. No. For the video, unfortunately, we don't have. Text is provided. The text of the video is provided. So we have to provide 2 things. One, the text that we are presenting on the video is to be provided. Second, the text of the unit is to be provided. These are the 2 things we can provide.
All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I will connect with you again. I just need some more guidance over there. Thank you.
Sure. Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Ms. Vadivakarashi, Assistant Professor of English, to propose the vote of thanks.